Our team initially began data collection using ground-penetrating radar, or GPR for short, in January 2021 with collections done on tracks number 8 and number 2. For a pre-measured distance of 400 feet along track number 8 at the Chesapeake Rail Yard, Dr. Wynn, Dr. Neem, and student engineering research assistant Elizabeth Roberts took turns pushing a 3-wheel cart with the GPR control unit SIR 4000 mounted on top and a 400 megahertz analog antenna mounted on the bottom. We pushed the cart several passes down the track, collecting data along the right side, the center, and the left side of the inner track. Walking at a slower controlled pace allowed for the GPR equipment to gather larger numbers of scans per foot, for example, providing more detailed information about the ballast layers under the rail line. In comparison, data was also collected in this manner from track number 2, but only for a distance of 200 feet. During the months of February and March, the site was cleared of debris and the team prepared for GPR data collection using a fast and efficient vehicle-mounted technique. A stabilized housing unit for the GPR antenna was developed and attached to the back of a high-rail truck. With this technique, the research team was able to gather data faster and more efficiently using several different parameters, including the antenna height, or distance of the antenna unit to the ground, and various numbers of scans per foot, or various speeds of GPR data collection. The first collection was conducted in early April 2021 with the antenna unit 10 inches from the ground and by making 10 passes along track number 8. A second collection was done later that month with the antenna 7.5 inches from the ground and making 9 passes along track number 8. For the third collection, the antenna was again lowered to 7.5 inches from the ground, and the ability to detect 3 metal plates buried in unknown locations to Dr. Wynn and Dr. Neem along track number 8 was tested. After data collection is performed, our research team begins the process of analyzing the data back at the office. The data files are copied to a USB memory device and transferred from the laptop to the PC. Here, a data science platform called Anaconda was used to work with Python codes for analyzing the GPR data collection. Our researchers use a computational notebook called Jupyter Notebook to read and compile the Python programming codes. After running the code with varying input parameters related to signal processing and filtering, the program generated a 2-dimensional contour map in a PNG file format of the ballast layers under the rail. During our initial GPR data collection in January, our researchers were able to gather more detailed information because they pushed the 3-wheel GPR cart slowly so that more scans per foot were collected. As a result, the research team was able to observe individual rail ties. Towards the upper end of the measured length, the ground was discovered to be more turbulent with highly fouled ballast. Our research team believes this may be due to the aging railroad ballast over time. The results on track number 8 using the high rail truck in April and May were slightly different from the previous runs in January, as data collection process was changed from a cart-based to a vehicle-based system. The GPR control unit was also changed from the single-channel to the multiple-channel system. At slower speeds, our team achieved a larger data collection with better results because of the higher numbers of scans per foot. At higher data collection speed, the numbers of scans per foot are decreased, resulting in smaller data sets. For runs completed in April, our research team predicted a water table about 1 foot down from the ground surface. The rainy weather during that month may have been a factor. For runs completed in May, the research team did not observe any water table, which means it may have been lower or beyond the covering depth of the antenna. Around this time, the weather had also been very dry. The antenna was able to detect the reflection of localized water collection from the hole which the research team had used to check for a water level prior to each data collection. This may be due to the ground being disturbed too many times. New holes dug in May at 20 and 40 feet away from the initial hole were found to be dry. The research team can now work on modifying the programming codes to be able to predict for the fouling index in the future. Later on, as data is collected from much longer distances such as miles, the research team will have to use special algorithms and programs to handle large amounts of data. When data is collected at slower speeds, the data sets may be huge. On the other hand, when data is collected at higher speeds, the data sets may be significantly reduced, but it may result in compromised data quality.